Hi everybody. I want to take this opportunity to teach you or expose you to a couple of things that I learned in my career, and I really wish they had taught me this when I was in school. So I'm going to pass this on to you, and they may be fairly basic, but I still to this day use it after 25-30 years in the hospitality business. So, two things we're going to talk about: goal setting and Proforma budget. So let's get started. All right, we're going to start with goal setting here. And you've probably heard this about in other classes, but you've never really dove into, or you may have, but we're going to dive into it a little bit more here. So make sure your goals are SMART. Specific, that's an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, some people call it relevant, and time bound. Now, here's a few not SMART goals. Not specific. We're going to be wealthier. Great. Not measurable. We're going to save more money. What does that mean? What is more money? Not attainable. Here we go. We're going to open 75 more restaurants this month. I don't think that's very attainable. Realistic. Not realistic or relevant. As a sophomore, I'm going to get ahead of the game and apply for 10 CEO jobs this month. You might be able to apply for them, but having a realistic shot is pretty slim. And not time bound. We will have a healthy occupancy rate at some point. So you see, these are all not SMART goals. Ideally, your SMART goals will be one statement. Let me give you an example. We're going to sell 35% more tickets compared to last year to all 6 concerts at the Walmart amp over the next 3 months. Now, that is specific. Clearly, it's measurable because we know how many we sold last year, and we know how many we're going after this year, 35% more. It is attainable, we believe, because on history, we know we can sell more. Is it realistic? Absolutely, it's realistic. That's a very much a feasible goal for 35% more over 3 months, which is your time component of this goal. So there's an example of that. Let me give you another one here. You're going to increase the market share of our company by 10% by opening 4 new hotels in 3 of the largest cities in Brazil by the end of the year. Again, this is a SMART goal. It is specific. It is clearly measurable. It is attainable, we believe, because within the company you may have these resources to do. It's realistic because this is who we are. You have to take this into context, assuming you're a company who does this on a regular basis. And it is time bound. It has the time component by the end of the year. Okay? That is another example of a SMART goal. Now I'm going to give you one more here. And this is a SMART goal. They don't have to be outcome-based. They can also be process-based. Here's an example. The Chief Marketing Officer says our cost of new customer acquisitions should be no more than $45 over the next fiscal quarter. Now, you as an analyst or as a new employee, you might be tasked with, okay, how are we going to do this? Well, that means you need to set some process goals along the way, which allows you to take a look at the process. If you did not hit one of those goals, you can dive down a little bit deeper. Let me show you. Here's an example of a process goal. Like we said, our target is $45 per customer acquisition, okay? When you acquire customers, whether you're putting on an event, it costs you money to get that particular client, whether they're walking in the door or whether you're having to go out there and get them through direct sales. There is an expense there. There are marketing expenses. There's all kinds of things. We'll go into that in a little bit with part 2 of this. But let's take a look at this. Your first process goal at the top of the funnel is to achieve an average of 100 web page visits per day over the next 3 months via Google Ads and organic click-through. That is a SMART goal. Over to the right, I'm taking a look at the actual numbers associated with this goal. Let's say you have a budget of $10,000 a month or $30,000 for the 3 months, and you're wanting to get 100 visits per day, which is 9,000 total visits for that 3 months. Okay, you following me, guys? That would be $3.33 cost per visit to the website. Now, of those, we know that 30% of page visits we want to generate requests for information or a newsletter sign up. All right, that is another goal, because the time component of this is clearly within the 3 months that we were talking about to help support, again, this is a process goal, to help support what the Chief Marketing Officer had laid out for us as our goal. So I take 30% of those 9,000 visits equals 2,700. Now, my 2,700 people that I've got, that I've generated requests for information, or they've signed up for the newsletter, that costs $11.11 cost per sign up, because we know we've spent $30,000 on those Google Ads and organic click-through. So one more step. 1 in 4 will actually purchase something from our organization. So that's 25%. 1 out of 4 is 25%. Of that 2,700 equals 675, or a $44.45 cost per customer acquisition. That's our target, is $45 or under. So you can see how we set this up. You can back into these numbers easily. You can play with this, and you see where your goals are, your SMART goals. That acronym works. In this situation, it's not only outcome, but it's process. Okay? The best way to do this, and the best way to get a handle on this, is by setting your own personal goals. And you might think, oh yeah, people talk about personal goals all the time, and I'm inundated with that kind of information. And you're right. People will tell you about setting your goals. I've had a lot of conversations with you guys individually about setting goals, so some of this should ring true. But the same acronym, SMART, applies on your personal goals as well as business goals. So try it. Now, I'm going to give you an example here. And I've got mine, believe it or not, in my office here. I've got these massive Post-it notes with my goals on. And I review them every so often. They change also, but I use that SMART acronym as kind of a litmus test to see how I'm doing. And usually, in my case, the realistic component is where I struggle. But nonetheless, personal goals. Here's some examples of categories you may look at. You may have some financial goals. You may have experience goals. You may have health and fitness goals. Financial. You may want to save 20% of your first 3 years paychecks. Okay, or which is a goal. That's a financial goal. Experiences. You may want to visit 2 countries you've never visited before within the first 5 years of graduation. There you go. Those are experience goals. Health and fitness. You may want to run your first marathon within the next 3 years. Perfect. There's a health goal or a fitness goal. I have several health and fitness goals for me, climbing Kilimanjaro, as you can imagine. So all of those are good ways of applying the SMART acronym to your own development, your own life. But if you use that, and I use the SMART goal acronym daily, in both personal and in my professional career. So this was a lesson that I learned when I got into the casino business, believe it or not, and I've used it, ever since then. So I wanted to pass that along. I'm making it very simple, and I'm giving you the 30,000 foot level here. Please call me if you want to dive into this more. But I wanted to give you this, at least my views on this stuff, as some extras here, and hopefully you get something out of it. Now, let's move on to the second part, which is Proforma budgeting.